Can you hear me? Okay, good. I need you to turn your camera back on, love.
Yeah, okay. Hold on just a second. I had to step away. Sorry. And
I'm
make sure
doing
everything.
all that talking. I know what I did wrong now. Okay.
Uh-oh.
That's my son.
Oh,
He got
as long
scared.
you even give him 1,000 questions to ask us. All right. We're good. How's it going?
He'll be good. He'll be good.
Oh,
He's good. So, everybody, we just
uh-oh. Here we go.
okay. Hold on. Okay, back again. I thought I was on and then I was off. So I'm going to remove this little mouse over here so we can continue. So you are watching Food Alchemy Network. It is being brought to you today by our shows of Dinner Time Fridays. It is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Time. That's the times and the regions. Also, we have every Monday Coffee with Ori with intuitive life coach Ori. He's on Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Thursdays, we have Angelic Whispers with Dr. Ron Bates. We like that. And today you have me with this Friday. Dinner time! Y'all know it. Y'all know it. So get a pencil. You know what I'm about to say. Get a paper. Have a seat. Listen. And if you want, you can go to the comment section and ask a question, which is much appreciated. We love when you ask questions, because you give us so much stuff. So down at the bottom, so we are ready for you. Are you ready for us today? We're going to talk about burning. How important you getting close to the source of knowing what you eat and put in your body is very important. So I asked a friend of mine to impart some wisdom on you people and beings to really get a clue how to help and assist our communities, also in the local markets and the agricultural biz, what we can do, how we can meet one another. So, all right. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to just leave it at that. So if you have any comments, make comments below. And we're going to, just like we said, roll with the punches. That's it. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guest, Mr. What's going on? I'm sorry. I see different things that's come on. Corey.
Chinese?
Right, like I don't know.
No.
Corey.
Yes.
Okay, I needed to make sure you're there.
Okay.
Because all kinds of things, my computer done like flip. So I must, as my friend would say, I must going to be imparting some very important information. So I'm going to give it up to you to introduce yourself. Oh, say your spew, Corey. I'm sorry, before I give it up
No.
to Mr.
Yeah.
Cary.
Welcome everybody. This is dinner time with the host, Cecily D'Angelo, co-host me, Corey. Again, please remind us to help us out more. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, and also to get more information, to get more videos. Please hit the notification bell, and on Twitch, please follow us. And also, when we are on Instagram, please follow her page. We finally got her to do a link tree. So if you have any information, please, mom, put your link tree into the anywhere on YouTube or Twitch. And then people, please go follow her link tree. All her information on there: her Facebook, her Instagram, her Twitter. you want to follow her. And any for further information, today's topic is about farming and but about farming and how where it comes from and how we can enjoy it more, and also so we can be well informed in how what's better, farming or mass produced farming. So we're gonna talk about that. So
Thank you. That was so awesome.
I'm not supposed to be laughing.
Hey, you can do anything you want. It's
No.
okay. We're allowed.
Yeah.
Mr. Cary, go on and introduce yourself.
Okay. Good. Good evening, everyone. My name is Cary Jr. I am general manager of the Southeast Michigan Producers Association, which is a rural Black farmer cooperative. We're located right outside the city of Detroit. And our main objective is to empower our farmers, provide access and provide the resources that they need so they can grow the food that we need and then take that food and be able to distribute it and sell it in specifically our communities and in our neighborhoods in the city of Detroit. So in essence, what we're trying to do is create what I'm going to evolve into our conversation into a food system. The primary way for us to be successful in farming, we have to understand the whole food value chain, and which means not only we need to grow the food, we need to be able to process the food, and we need to be able to distribute the food, and then on the end, of course, sell our food. So that whole system is really the what we really want to talk about in detail. But if we talk about agriculture and farming, that's where everything begins.
All right.
Is that enough to
All
start
right.
with?
No, it's plenty. I'm putting it out there. So
Okay.
pay attention to the screens, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, that I said I will be putting it in two different languages. I mean, three different languages.
Oh wow.
So it'll be in Mandarin. And I won't do. I will do the Roman Mandarin, not the Mandarin in what they call calligraphy. Calligraphy. Woo! Thank you, Ceci. Calligraphy.
I'm just
and
happy I'm just happy you don't make me have to speak in it because right now that would be somewhat of a challenge.
or I'll teach you a word. Ni hao.
Yeah, ni hao. Actually, my son is somewhat fluent in it, but he won't speak. I made him take Mandarin back in high school, and I'm glad he did. So he took several years of it, including college, and he's going over to China. But I couldn't get him to do anything involved with the language. But the whole idea is like somebody knows it, and we have to be to relate to it.
There you go. I like that. See, do better, be better, all that
Oh
other
yeah.
good stuff.
Yes, and I'm trying to work on my Spanish, so I got a little ways to go. I had a little bit. I'm trying to brush up on it. So
Okay, so hola,
yeah, hola,
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 ¿cómo
como
está?
está? Yeah, muy bien,
Ah,
gracias. ¿Y tú?
y
It's
tú,
it's
bien,
coming
bien,
back a little bit.
bien.
Well,
All
look,
right.
as soon as I get immersed into it, and when I get immersed right into the middle of a community that's growing and they're speaking Spanish, I'm going to have to pick it up some kind of way. Yeah. So
You
anyway,
will. You're gonna do good. It's about putting the effort out there and doing the work, and that's what you're doing. So it's nothing wrong with what you're doing.
right. And I think the bigger part is communicating with people. Just because they don't speak our language, we need to be able to relate. And I mean, I think that
Right.
can take it further.
There you
Okay.
go. All right. So that's what I wanted to say. So, okay, I want to put this in a Sabanash. So we're gonna go there. So let's begin. You told us about that. I got my questions. You said you were ready for me. So this is so
I,
good.
I think so. As long as you don't ask me in Mandarin, I might make it
you
okay.
know, so you were like, "Good evening, my love. How are you?" Arlene knows where Detroit is. hmm So, that's good. So, okay, now let me go back to my Spanish. So, I was like, I have my questions, and I gave you a chance. Now, normally I don't give people a chance like I gave you, so you know, you're special.
You can come at me any.
Ask
I
Brother
think
Tamani.
okay. Okay. I think I'm ready. So if you come at me with this area, I think I could. I hope I can make it through.
You can. I'm easy. I'm easy.
Hmm.
I love this. Her saying, I'm commanding life with the power of elegance. How y'all doing? I am always in a state of blissfulness. Always.
Mm.
And abundance always meet me in my path. So I can't go wrong. I'm just saying. Okay. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Um, you said so I wanted to know specifically about Sempa, the organization.
Yeah, okay. Again, what happened was it is actually it's interesting how it started.
Okay.
I was actually again, if you all aware of the whole food access issue we have in our communities, that we can't find healthy foods in a lot of our neighborhoods. You don't find any of the major stores of this sort. So one of the things I try to initiate in my little community was a farmers market. Trying to encourage people to buy produce and things of this sort. But at the same time, I'm saying, okay, not only we want to encourage people to buy produce. We also trying to encourage entrepreneurship in food. But what happened with the farmers market is like anything else. It was more of a challenge trying to get that to work. So one of my regular clients asked me, were we supplying our food from black farmers? And at the time,
Mm,
we weren't. And I'm in Michigan, so now I'm originally from down south. So I'm thinking, well, I thought we could be working in black farmers here in Michigan. But I said, but I had to do some research. And another colleague of mine that was running a farmers market said, well, let's see if we can find some. We did some research and found out there was this large group of black farmers outside of Detroit in rural areas. And just to understand the history is, a lot of people migrated up north to work in the plants during the 50s and the 60s. But a lot of them came from rural areas. But even though they worked in the plants, a lot of them still lived in rural areas because they love agriculture, they love growing food and crops. So anyway, so we have a lot of people who were there from that generation that were still growing things. But their problem, their challenge was in general, like black farmers always had an issue of getting their products sold in stores or bought for a fair price and things of that sort. So anyway, so when I found this group, they were already somewhat being organized, not completely. So I started getting involved with them. I tried to source from them first. Then we realized the challenges then about capacity, things of that sort. So what I decided to do with the group is say, let's organize and see what we can do to help you all get what you need. So back in 2013, we organized as a group, and I was sort of the general manager. So my idea to go out and see what information I can find. So anything had to do with farming or agriculture, I went to every little meeting, every little conference there was, state, regional, and national, particularly if it pertained to small farms, black farmers, things of the sort, sustainable agriculture, things. And when I realized, one, we weren't having a lot of black people attending these meetings. The black farmers would attend black farm conferences, but those conferences were primarily down south, and they were talking specifically about growing their product, not how to get their product out in the market to be sold. So what I realized on my research, there's a huge gap between the people growing the food that look like us, and then the people who actually buying the food who look like us, and they're buying plenty of it. But there's a disconnect because they're buying it from the large institutional, farms, large institutional grocery stores, things of that sort, who are not supporting black farms at all. So I said we have to figure out a way to reconnect our people with their food. Now, one thing I can say when I had the survey, when we did get a few products from black farmers at our farmers market, that stuff would sell immediately. It would sell within 1 hour. We're open for 4 hours. It'll be because people they recognize if these are typically our clients were black, was usually seniors, and a lot of these people had memories of living on farms. So the fact that they were supporting a black farmer, they loved it. So we couldn't keep anything from them on the shelves. It'll go right away. So I think we just need to figure out a way to make sure these farmers are growing enough food so we can so we can feed ourselves. And keep in mind, and I'm kind of going off from your original question, is that what I also found out, and when you realize they're taught all kinds of information about agriculture, they're taught about growing the product, how to make a great product, but no one's ever talking about the economics behind this. How do you make money do it? How do you make a profit? How do you set up a business per se? So, and that's why I've realized that's where the gap is. That we talk food, healthy food, but we never talk about food economics. And that's the piece that I'm trying to strongly advise us to look at, whether we're talking about just buying and investing in land, whether you're talking about investing in a food business, whether it's a food truck or produce market, or even some kind of value-added product that you create, like a sauce or whatever. But all of those things put together in the right kind of network, I mean, we can definitely empower Black people across this country. I think 20 times over. Because right now, when you're buying your food, you don't know, you're getting what you want, but you don't know where it's coming from. And chances are you're supporting a large corporate farm whose primary interest is making a profit so they could support and help their stockholders. Whereas you have a lot of Black farmers who grow, even though they don't grow to make a profit, they grow because they love it. You're getting a quality product, you're getting probably an organic product, but they can't get in the market what they should get for that organic product as opposed to what you would find in the store, because again, they're not part of the network. I'm thinking we just have to create a network for our farmers, so our people can have access to the food that they're going to buy anyway. You might as well buy it from a preferred source or a source that you're aware of. And that I'll stop right there. So.
Now we have some questions now. Hold on. So
I know. I got one. I'm hoping I'm answering 20 of them as I go along.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Okay. So the question is, do you have people around? Okay, sorry about that. You shouldn't be hearing that.
Oh, I see it about the farm. No. Well, first of all, like I said, unfortunately, the farmers market I had, again, for financial, economic reasons, did not survive. But what we found that there are lots of people who want to create healthy meals. We have a relationship with chefs, and we have a relationship with restaurants. So getting the healthy food into the neighborhood, like I said, is a slow process. But what we're trying to do is encourage people to buy the fresh product, like right from the farm, because that right there will immediately help that farmer. They'll help any farmer that we're working with. Now, the value added product, I mean, like you said, like the meals and stuff that you prepare, that's going to be up to that, again, a local entrepreneur. What's that?
Nothing. Just
no, I'm saying that's going to depend on. And again, like I said, the whole idea is there are people out there that also prepare these meals. What we're trying to do is encourage them to support us, because at least they know the food they're buying from us is coming from our farmers. Now, you can go to the Gordon Foods, a place like that, and you can get stuff, but it's not coming from farmers. You don't know what the source is, and they don't either. But they won't tell you that.
Of course not.
Doesn't make any sense. I don't know if I answered this question, but I was all over the place. But that question has a whole lot of pieces in it so you can understand it. But part of our produce stores that we're trying to create in the neighborhoods, we want to put a piece in there where people can come in and do healthy meal demonstrations, or we can do just show how to use some of the food products that are there. We know, particularly in our community, if somebody brings zucchini in there or eggplant, they're gonna look at it and don't have an idea what to do with it. So what we like to have a chef come in and show how to prepare it, and maybe even have samples of the food that people try again. But everything we want is gonna be 100% natural, or I'll use the term organic. That's a political term. Natural food, and it's gonna be something that comes out that you show where it came from, out the ground or wherever. That so when people taste it or whatever it is, they never had it before, at least maybe something they can be interested in trying to buy.
See, that's good. Because we need to know that, and the steps which we secure, and so that we can maintain. you can be land rich but money poor as
Oh
a
yeah.
farmer. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
Yes. And actually, the biggest problem right now, unfortunately, is there's a lot of landowners or their heirs that have land. They don't realize the value that that land has. I mean, it has a lot of value than they realize. And a lot of people also think, and we're trying to encourage people out, just because you have a land, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the person out there trying to farm it and make it work. There are people out
Right.
here, I'm telling you, that you can lease your land out or whatever, but I think it's always you want to own that particular land. And like I said, whether you're growing products on it, whether you're raising livestock on it, whether you're just growing trees, I mean, depending on what you're doing on that, there's a true value in it. Anything that nature has created, I'm telling you out there, that there's some kind of value to it. And you remember that whole 40 acres and a mule thing that never really actually happened. But there were a lot of farmers that did come across a lot of the land, and they had it, and now they're in a generation now where, again, like I said, because nobody wants to do farming anymore. You have a lot of this land saying idle. So if it says idle, then the taxes build up on it, and then sometimes a lot of times the family lose it. Or what we're hoping to avoid is that a lot of times when the senior person in the family dies and the land is split up into 6 people or 8 people, now everybody's ready to sell, as opposed to trying to keep it together to keep things going on. So it's a lot of things that, like, when it comes to land value, like I said, that we need to learn. And on the other side, that you have younger urban farmers and people that are trying to get access to land, and they can't afford it, particularly if it's in an urban area anyway. So again, we have to figure out, when we talk about the land and the value of land, we have to really understand it has a value.
Right.
Even though it's not in downtown Manhattan, I mean, you're out in a real rural area, it has value. And another thing, a lot of people don't realize that. Keep in mind, black farmers or farmers of color usually have not participated in the overall, in food industrial thing, which means a lot of times they've grown naturally grown, which means the soil is still organic. Meanwhile, the bigger farms, because they've been producing for the corporations, have contaminated their soils with pesticides and things of that sort. So now their land really is not as valuable as the black farmers' land. That's why a lot of black farmers have been offered a lot of money for their land, because it's still organic. Of course, the black farmer doesn't realize, the family doesn't realize that value, because they're not going to tell you. So I tell people, even though you have that land, hold on to it, because I'm almost assure you it's going to be worth it, particularly if you have certain types of soils anyway. But anyway, so when we talk about land ownership, we have to understand, people understand we need to keep that going.
Right. Totally. So, okay. Let's see. Printing.
I couldn't read that Spanish, sorry. I need to learn next time.
That wasn't Spanish. I think that was, yeah. Was that Spanish? Let me see. I don't remember. I'm doing Spanish and Mandarin and put it up. And I'm just saying, the goal is to help black farmers, encourage farmers to make the black agriculture farmer better for the communities to get great quality food. Did I sum it up pretty much?
Say that one more time.
Goal is to help black farmers, encourage farmers to make black agriculture farmers better for the community to get great quality food.
Yes. And again, the key is us being able to get those farmers, tie them connect directly with the population that buys the food. If we can get them to buy directly from that would definitely empower that farmer, as well as empower that consumer with healthy food. That's correct.
Okay. And Arlene says, exactly. She said, I'm thinking that the disconnect with the food prep for healthy eating, which I totally agree. Agree.
Yes. And see, and I'm some people like herself will probably want to know what the correct foods are. And, you can identify the conventional stuff from the organic stuff. Those are the types of things that we have to kind of educate our community on eating, and you've got to get them off the price, because the price fluctuates here and there. Now, I'll tell you right now, if you go to, I hope nobody's here from Whole Foods. If you go to Whole Foods, you're paying an exorbitant amount of money. They market it because they're saying it's all organic, which it is. But the markup on there, just because it's all about return to profit, is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we know we can give you a store maybe 1/3 the size and 1/10 the cost, and give you the same quality product. We won't be able to have everything in the store that they have, but I mean, we can bring the necessities, the vitals that people try to eat every day. We can provide that in our communities at a much better cost, much more affordable cost for them. And create an entrepreneurs in the process.
Oh, Christ. Okay. Hold on, I'm writing this. Like I said, damn things.
You're right.
Eddie said hello. I was saying Whole Foods. We know Whole Foods. Going to Whole Foods called whole paycheck for a reason.
Yeah. Well, I want to be careful. I want to make sure they're one of your sponsors of the show or something.
Oh no, they're not sponsoring my show, please. No. Please, no.
Not yet. Wait till you see what kind of influence you have. They'll be there.
All right. Well, the thing is, the store that I love, and it was on the West Coast and in other great parts, which I really, really love, was Sprout. No, I don't like Sprouts. It was whole paycheck. What is this? Sunflower Market. Then Sprouts bought Sunflower Market because they were affordable, and their tinctures and their herbs, and they had a whole bulk of herbs section and homeopathic section. It was the bomb. Their food was not as pricey as Sprouts. Sprouts is an in between. It was Sunflower, Sprouts, and Whole Foods. But Whole Foods didn't just build up. They took over a lot of local markets. It was ones called Mrs. Jen's. So when I lived in Arizona in Tucson, it was Mrs. Fields. So that was a problem. They bought out Mrs. Fields. It was a good store when I lived there years ago when my daughter was little. You could go and get like essential oils, and they educated you about the essential oils at Mrs. Fields. That's what's called. And Whole Food came and started buying them up. And that's what they do, just like the Walmart.
Yeah.
The Walmart buys out the local pharmacy. They knock down the prices and everything. But I'm just
that's corporate America. And like I said, once we understand how that works, I think we can work around there. Again, we can, because that is what they're going to do. Even if we create our own network. The key that I'm saying is, you mentioned Sunflower. I'm not familiar with them, but it sounds like a lot of things they're doing is what my dream of what our model produce store is going to do in the neighborhood. And keeping in mind what we're trying to do is create, again, once we get our farm, the whole idea is with the food system piece, you got to get all the farms producing. They're going to bring all their stuff to our one central food processing distribution center, which Sempa is going to run, and then Sempa is going to send everything out to these little neighborhood produce markets, and that way all the neighborhoods people will have access to that healthy food, plus the herbs, plus all the other healthy type things we were saying, plus the education and that sort. So we'll be creating our own. I only use the term chain because it's not going to be like a big chain, but I assure you that somebody, if it works and it makes sense. And by the way, that model we're creating, we want to take this model across the country when we get it done. We want to take it to every major city. And then identify where the farmers are if we're not using farmers from down south, and try to create this network back into these urban centers where we don't have the access to food that we want. But I'm saying, if we're successful at that, of course you're going to get we have Kroger, or you're going to have somebody, Publix, or somebody going to try to buy it out, because I mean that's just the corporate way of doing things. My thing is when it gets to that point, that's a conversation we can have then on what to do. Because my thing is, even if they bought those out, we still need to make sure we can pull out the side and create something else to make sure things maintained in the community. Because what happens, like with Walmart, they're gonna underprice you to get you out of business. And as soon as all the competition is gone, people don't realize their price is going right back up. If not, it's even more. And then of course, then they're offering the farm. I'm saying the farmer, much less. Because they look, I'm buying 10 million versus 1,000, so I want you to sell to me for a penny versus 10 cents. Right. So that farmer, goes along with that. And of course, he can't do it by himself. He has to go in with 7 or 8 farms. So now they got to figure out what they thought they were going to get 10 cents. They only going to get a penny for, and then now they're struggling again. So it's it's a losing market. But anyway, but my thing is, like I said, we understanding that's how the system works. We just have to figure out how to work within this, how to make the system work for us. Not necessarily work with the system. We create our own thing within that system. That's the way I look at it. So I know I'm talking too much about that.
No, you're doing an excellent job. Don't stop. Don't stop. You give me a chance to get all my languages and don't stop.
Okay. Well, I hope I know I'm talking kind of fast, but I'm hoping you're able to get it.
No,
if you grow your own food, you can never be hungry. That is absolutely true. If you can grow your own food, I agree with that wholeheartedly. What I'll say is think about growing the food for yourself, and then you can grow for 2 other people too as well. So those 2 other people will be somebody you can sell it to. That way, now you become a entrepreneur, farm entrepreneur, food entrepreneur. It's what we need more of. Whole food market. Also, as with whole pay. Okay, talking about the whole paycheck. Okay. Yeah. Well, was that what kind of organic with prices of the? Well, I can't read it. Oh, okay, I got it. Okay, thank you.
That's in Spanish.
Yeah, no, I was trying to. I knew organicos, but I didn't know. I'm trying to remember sober. I had a brain freeze. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're doing good. You're doing good.
Okay,
Earth Fair. Earth Fair is Earth Fair. Do you have an Earth Fair near you?
No, we don't have them in our area, but typically when I travel places, I look for all the so-called healthy foods. I've seen one somewhere. Where I don't know where I saw it. Like Sprouts. We don't have Sprouts either, but I went to Sprouts actually out in Nevada, I think, when I was out there. And
that's more of a West Coast. Earth Fair is more on the East Coast because Earth Fair, they just recently started building Earth Fair like in Florida.
Oh, okay. Didn't Earth Fair go bankrupt?
I don't know, but I will check that out.
One of the major healthy stores, I think they filed. I think again, I try to follow at least the places on the level I would say on the Whole Foods. Anybody that's selling really truly healthy, natural foods for people, I always try to follow them because everybody always try to say the model.
Yep, you're right. February the 4th, Earth Fair.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to you guys so y'all can look at it so you don't.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's unfortunate, like I said, because then what happens, see, there's a thin line between being a small store in the neighborhood trying to get things doing, and then you have higher costs than trying to become a major distributor, because now, like I said, you have to rely on those bigger, greater populations, and you can compete with the bigger guys, and and it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know that Whole Foods is owned by Amazon now, so I don't know if you're aware of that or not. Because Amazon, they're trying to get they're trying to get into this food thing too, and everybody, this whole convenience thing is I don't know. I'm looking at that and I'm telling people that's only going to work for a minute. I don't know. I just think anybody who wants healthy, fresh food and whatever, it's going to be hard to try to fit on that whole Amazon model because you can't. Mother Nature is going to determine when something grows and how long it grows and what's going to be. You can't do it. And of course, unless you're feeding it with all kinds of insecticides and ingredients, and that's what Whole Foods claim that they aren't trying to. They don't have anything to do with that, but we'll see.
Well, that's a lie. They do have some of that. So I mean, and they're getting better. Yeah, sometimes they do, but when they find it, they try to correct it if somebody brings it to their attention.
Yeah, we can take a picture of it. Get it, see, show you. Yeah, and they have it. And don't get me wrong, from an economic standpoint, to make money, they bring that stuff in. My thing is, that's okay, but don't say you don't have any when you have some in there. That's all, so people know.
Yeah, they've got conventional. They're like I said, they're trying. So I give it to them, but it's it is what it is. They've got busted, and they pull it. And as soon as they figure it out, they have somebody pull it off the shelf. And they take it back. So which is good for the community.
Right. I see. Is that the question about the components of farming?
Mm-hmm.
No. All the components are out there, just like anything else in the community. Everything is so nobody knows who's out there doing what. Like I say, you have the 3 main components. I call them the 3 main components of their food system. Is the producers, the processor distributors in the middle, and then the end users, or we call the I call them the outlets or the stores, the retailers. Now also on that side, you got restaurants as well. You have restaurants, and then institutions like schools and people like the hospitals who buy food as well. All those are on the outlet side. But the thing is, how do you tie the farmers? Because right now the problem is if a school district came to me, the farmers I have don't have the capacity for what that school is going to need over over a period of time over a school year. So we're strongly trying to encourage our farmers to work together like a cooperative, and that's what Sempa does. It's sort of kind of orchestrating that if the school say, well, we need 100,000 pounds of tomatoes this year, 10,000 a month. I gotta go out here to this guy. I need you guys to somehow grow 10,000, tomatoes a month. One guy does 1,000, one guy does 8, one guy does 500, whatever. So the point is getting them to work together so we can meet the demand of the consumer. And again, people looking at that now, and there's a lot of support for local. You hear the local food movement and everything else, but in our community, the problem is everything is still disconnected. We're still not getting the information. Black farmers aren't getting the information. The Black consumers aren't getting the information. And we don't really have a lot of middlemen, the processing, distribution people, which is where we definitely need to start investing our money in that area, or getting people to try to coordinate, which is what we're trying to do with our organization to be a prototype or a model example of what can happen if people work together, because that middle piece is going to be one that's going to bring the farmers together, and it's going to bring the restaurants and the grocery stores to you. Oh, you guys, can you guys get us this? We'll be doing nothing. We'll be doing anything no different than U.S. Foods and Cisco. It's the same thing. It's just on our level. It's the same, and that's all they're doing. They identify where the producers or where the farmers are, buy the stuff, and turn around and sell it to schools and the hospitals, et cetera, et cetera. And I apologize for talking too fast. If you're not.
Hey, you're doing okay. You're doing good.
But going back to the original question, all we need to do now is identify who's out there in the food or agriculture space, at least when it comes to agriculture, when it comes to eating. I mean, whether you're talking about a farmer growing pigs or chickens, to a farmer growing greens, figure out who all they are. And then we can need to figure out where the markets are. And we already know where those are, at least the hardcore ones in a lot of urban areas. Or even though we're spread out all over the South. So there's a lot of opportunity if we can just tie it together and let one group be aware that the other group is there and they're willing to support you as long as you can provide them the product they want. And I tell people, if a customer comes to you and expect you to sell them a watermelon same price Walmart does, I tell them just go to Walmart. I got a farmer right now that's working a farm stand here in Michigan, not too far from me. And what he's doing selling he's a watermelon guru. He's an expert on watermelon. So he actually went down to Georgia and brought back watermelon to sell here. Now, if you go to Walmart or any store, but people realize they grade them to sell only one specific size of watermelon. It is one specific, whereas where we have is everything, however it comes out. We had everything from a watermelon that was only 6 pounds to we had a watermelon that was 35 pounds. And so we do, and you're not going to see those in the store because that's not the grade level that Walmart and those places want.
Right.
So our whole idea is when we sell, and then people ask us, "Are they have seeds in them?" That's the other thing you got to remember. Yes. The store you see it in the store probably aren't going to have seeds in them again because they're coming from big institutional farms. So anyway, my guy's now he's selling watermelon. He got out there last. He was trying to find a farm stand across, and you sit one spot for weeks so people know who you are. He started last July. By September, when he would come out, the cars would be lined up ready to buy watermelons from him. One, because they saw they're from the South. Two, and then they were good. And some people always want to haggle on the price and everything else, but you always people doing that. So now this year, again, they're up there now, and now not only he's selling watermelon, now the guy selling barbecue right next to him, and another person selling clothing because he created this little corner where he is.
Wow.
See, that's the kind of economic empower that we have that we don't realize. That we need to try to figure out how to put that together. But the point I was making about the watermelon guys, he has to go down there and get them and bring them up here. If we create a system where we can have, we can get them on a regular basis, he'll be not only he's only there like 6 hours during the day. We need just like we need a storefront that's open year round. They can sell them watermelons and any other produce. At least 6 or 7 hours during the day, and we need it not only where I am in Detroit, but we need one like 6 or 7 other areas of the city so people can have access to that type of thing. But I said we have the potential. We just don't understand. We've never been really truly taught economics. But it's really simple. All we have to do is just sit down and think, and then figure out how can we work together. Because you know the history. That's one thing that they never wanted us to do. Because that if we don't work together, that means we never create we never be able to create the economic power. And the last 2 economic powers we had, which was like Black Wall Street, you saw what happened. So that's what I think. That's something they don't want us to create, but we have to get back to figure out what's going to take to make that happen. And I think food is the answer. Food is going to be the key for us to start understanding how to work together. Okay. See, I started.
Shalom, 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 and love to you too. So we have more questions, which really good, and this is like really helping a lot of people. Greetings, 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 greetings. So greetings, Eddie, big bro. Thank you for attending. I was trying to do something else, so that's my brother. So we have Arlene. She got the beautiful questions, the ones that make you go,
Yeah. Now, I'm kind of into. Actually, we have no geographic limitations. However, as you look at trying to create food systems, it's hard for me to try to get watermelons from Florida to Detroit, if you know what I mean, as opposed to trying to get watermelons from Kentucky. So we have to look at those types of things. But we look at the guy in California. We need to look at how to get his watermelons in LA, or how do we get his watermelons in San Francisco. So we don't have limitation from that standpoint. We just have to figure out where to create the markets. And like I said, the market's everywhere. We just have to figure out how to go about doing it. And if I could share with you, this information I'm talking to you about, I've presented on several times. I've presented over the country, little by little, as we go around. And I had an opportunity to present it at the Native American Agriculture Conference, first regionally and then nationally. Because again, it's the same challenges. They have a lot of the traditional food and things that they grow, but they can't get it to the markets for those members who moved to the urban centers, the cities, things of that sort. So it's the same type of thing. The only difference is they have funding sitting there waiting for them to get it. They just have to figure out how to get it. We have to create opportunities. We have to create the opportunity. So again, like I said, most of the communities here, we just have to figure out how to make things work. And if I talk about a Latino population, I guess being in the Southwest, and they're scattered as well. But a lot of products that they're growing, I don't know, in the U.S., but we're getting a ton of stuff from Mexico. A lot of people realize aware of that. Yeah. So now as far as the specialty foods, again, like I said, that's something. Again, that's a market I've looked at. But we have in Michigan, from what I understand, we're the only officially organized cooperative, not only in Michigan but in the whole Midwest. And then I have a colleague who has a Latino cooperative here in Michigan, and I think he's the only one in the Midwest as well. So what we're trying to do is figure out how we get dialogue with farmers across the Midwest, because I know down south, like I said, they have plenty of networks and cooperatives. And going back when I talk about networks, I just want our network, our cooperative, to network with the other cooperatives down south. And then, but then also we're working with cooperatives in Michigan as we try to supply food in this state. So, depending on it. So if they're the Native American cooperative, they're the Latino cooperative, we want to work with them in the state of Michigan, to feed our populations there. But when I talk about the Black community, where we're talking about Detroit, Cleveland, Chicago, we're trying to figure out how can we get the food from a lot of farmers down south back to these areas. And that's one of the greater challenges I'm looking at. And that's one of the things that I put out there to Brother Tamani. That's why he got me working with him. So, yes.
Okay. Well, I like that. So, okay, what else we got? What was it? It said, greetings, families. Okay. Do you know any Do you know if Amish have a model we can follow? The
And
Amish.
that's a very good question. We have because as we create our network here, that is one group we're looking at to hopefully collaborate with, particularly here because they grow a lot of again the natural foods, natural organic foods in the Midwest, probably
Mm-hmm.
more prominent than than we do any black farmers. But I don't. As far as a model, I haven't really had a chance to have any dialogue with anybody. But again, like some of the people I work with have when it comes to our product. To be honest with you, I'm just kind of curious how much they'd be willing to share because I've never gone to a conference on food agriculture where I've had anybody from the Amish community share what they're doing. All I know is they are like everybody else. They're trying to market their product. But that's a very good question. You know what? I'm going to look that up. Wait, is this the ringer you guys have? Right? He's asking all the right questions. See, I was kidding. No, but that's great. No, I great questions.
Yes, because what I noticed when I went to Belize, right? They
Yeah.
have the Mennonites of
Yes.
doing the farming, and they've been down there in Belize since 1978,
Oh, really?
and they, yeah, 1978. Oh my gosh, everybody and their mother want to call.
That's right.
Um, son,
That's right.
can you take that for me? The
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. No, it's that you said that because I discovered the Mennonites also doing the pecans in Georgia. Even though I know my family had pecans, but they're the ones that are really pushing and selling pecans in Georgia, which is a very hot item up in the Midwest, selling southern pecan. So yeah, I mean those are groups of organizations I would love to see. We'll have dialogue with. I mean, again, I just never had I've never met anybody or sit down and say, okay, let's talk about it. Now, again, like I said, I've never seen them make any presentations. I didn't know if that's because they're trying to share information or what. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah. But I'll definitely find out. He's supposed to be speaking in Chinese. Go ahead, Mandarin. I heard they have some in Arizona. Yes, they did 2 years ago. Uh-oh. What were we talking about then? They're supposed to open back up here in what is they talking about? Farming? Uh-oh. I don't hear anybody's voice. It's just me.
No, no, no. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Um,
You're
yeah, yeah, yeah,
translating.
I'm here. So, I'm trying to ask him what is he talking about. What he's saying they're supposed to open it back up. Maybe he's talking about earth farms because this is
Earth Sphere.
yes.
Okay. Yeah. When I heard about it, again, I'm not familiar with. I wasn't familiar with the stores. I kind of followed, but then when I heard about them closing, I'm like, oh. I mean, it sounded like they were one of the kind of places that you want to have anyway in your neighborhood. But like I said, but you got to be. There's a bigger with Walmart and these bigger guys out there. It's a challenge out there. Like I said, trying to compete.
Yes, he was talking about earth fair. Okay, I'm trying to
Okay.
get to all the questions. He said,
Okay.
we need to stay grassroots. Stay
Yes,
grassroots.
I agree. That's what we're trying to do with this model. What we're doing with our co-op. That's what we're trying to do.
Um, she said in Baltimore we have at least three Amish markets that are open from Thursday to Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah. Yeah, and I'm actually talking with the small group there about hopefully what we can do to open up so we can get some markets in our community or produce markets in our community.
Right. She said Eddie said in the Carolinas the
Yeah,
pecans.
pecans. Yeah. That's a
Um, so let's see what else. Yeah, she already said that. Okay, it's somehow got reproduced again. Okay.
yeah.
What was that? Airfare. Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. So I got that. Good question. Good. See, they didn't bite you, right?
Who's that?
So
Me?
yeah,
Oh,
the
that's
question
because
wasn't too
that's because
bad, right?
no, I elaborated too much on the question to avoid more questions. That's all. That's it.
Oh,
I,
what?
no,
I'm
no, but
playing.
no,
Okay.
but I really, I mean, my thing is, I'm trying to share information that I tell people a lot of times, and I'm usually careful with what audience that I talk to. I'm trying to share a lot of information I know, and again, you get some of it, but you don't get all of it. And one of the issues I have is, like I said, there's a lot of resources and money out there for healthy eating, teaching youth farming, gardening, and things of that sort. But the problem what happens is most of the money goes to these majority institutions who take it and then come in and try to teach in your community and into a community and a culture they have no idea, no clue about, and not really trying to learn. So
Right.
until we get our own people to start to step up and say, okay, take leadership and want to try to educate our people on these things, it's going to be a challenge. I've been fortunate enough to be at work at the level of policy things of that sort, and I keep telling them, I say one of the biggest issue is, all these funding come down. The grassroots organizations are not getting getting information, and when the grassroots information, when they find out about it, it's usually through a middleman. I call it middleman, so-called ally of the community who gets all the funding, staff up their organization, bring in all their people, recruit all their friends and things, and then they'll hire one person from the community to be that, to be that face part of the organization, say they're helping out, and then so you wonder what all this funding they got, and it just, to me, it didn't go where it's supposed to go. When I think 60% of funding should go straight to grassroots, and when actually probably less than 30. But that's just my opinion, and I'm opening up something. But the other issue I have is I need more grassroots organizations out there that want to work, so we can unite together as we go talk and complain, whether it's to Congress or whatever else, about how this funding is going. But right now, it's not that many of us, and I can understand a lot of people don't want to deal with all the politics. They just want to get the work done. But when I have to tell you right now, in order to get the resources, we got to get involved at the top as they start to divvy it out. Anyway, is that the background song to the?
No, that's somebody calling me.
I'm trying to be silly.
Oh my gosh.
Is there any specific question you wanted me to
No, you did good because you answered the questions that I had written. I mean, so I guess you was prepared. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, the
yeah,
challenges we face in the market and the community. I mean, all of
yeah.
that.
And the thing, I will say again, I mean, we can talk about what the people aren't doing, but we're gonna have to step up on our side. Half of the problem is ours as our own. The other half is the powers that be. But until we get ourselves together on the right page, on the same page and get things, to me, it's gonna be a problem. And it's unfortunate. It's just prevalent across anything we do. I mean, I'll share with you again, but even within this whole farming community and with the black farmer issue, I tell people, I've been out there like 4 or 5 black farm organizations. You probably never heard a lot of them, but the bigger disappointment that they don't work or talk with each other at all. Everybody's got their own, and as long as you do that, you're never gonna get anything accomplished. That one group that has a relationship with Washington D.C., they're gonna be the ones you hear about. They're the ones gonna get some funding. But if they're not doing any work or being challenged to do more, I'm saying, they'll just stay out there. And unfortunately, like I said, but that's happened across, not only in farming, I've watched it across in all the industries in our community. So I say, so we have to do a better job of trying to unite people. I really believe what we're trying to do to actually impact everybody economically by providing not only food but also the businesses and things of that sort. People are going to listen once you empower their pocket. They'll be more inclined to go along with it. They see what you're talking about. And if we can just do that and also have an influence over the whole country, particularly the Midwest and the South and the Northeast, because that's where our heavy population is. Right. If we can have some kind of influence, then I think we can have a lot of influence on how black farm leadership go. Like I said, the whole food system piece is not a lot of us talking about that, but that's the key. You got to have you got to understand all pieces of it and make it work together, not just one.
Right. Someone said the government is buying up the farmland.
I don't know. I don't know where. I mean, meet you in Tennessee. Again, I don't know if they are not. If they see an issue with the large farm and they see something we don't know, they probably could be. But not it's not so much the government. We've got a lot of foreign interests here. We got me. I mean, there's a. I mean, there's a huge farm in Arizona right now. I think that I understand is owned by United Arab Emirates. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's there. I
Right.
also know that I know there's a huge free range chicken operation in Texas that's owned by China. A lot of people don't know about that. So I'm saying, but they're buying up a lot of our resources because we have them when it comes to food, and they're buying stuff, creating it to be exported to their people, to their countries. My question, well, let's make sure we have enough to take care of our people here first, and then
Right.
before but we have to again, we have to, as long as we have to maintain the ownership of that land, because that's
Well, that's
first
good.
control.
Well, when I was living in Mexico, the organic farmers, my friend said that they were shipping their organic goods to United States. They
Yeah,
had a contract that they could not sell to the locals, their own people. But that farming was specifically for United States.
yeah,
And I said I didn't understand that. She said Pacific Farms around where we were in Carmen de Playas. She was saying those farms was specifically for United States to be shipped. They were not to be. They could not sell their own goods to the people that
yeah,
actually live there. That
yeah.
made me sad. I'm like, are you kidding me? She was like, yeah. They buy other conventionals because some farms are starting to spray and take on United States bad habits.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think I think the same thing goes here. The big farm that grow here can't sell locally because they only got to sell to whoever the big conglomerate is buying. Is it whether AGM or somebody like that, or Bayer or Monsanto? They have to grow their product just for them. And and it won't let you sell locally. And you would think that my thinking is somebody would at least take some of that idea and take a percentage of it and sell locally, but they don't. Again, that's one of the problems I think I said with our greater food system. So I tell people, how can you have a country that's supposed to be wealthy like this? We trying to feed the world, but we got people right here that are starving, can't even get healthy foods in our own country. So it's a problem.
Right.
But like I said, we have to focus again. If we look at it from the standpoint of sustaining our community, sustaining the economics in our community, we have to look at all of that and see what makes sense. Yeah. If somebody want to buy $1 million, $1 million or whatever you're growing, that's fine. But if you grow that at the expense of providing people locally, we got to come back and see. Look, take a moral value on it. You got to look at it as far as people, because now you falling right down the same path, like I said, that everybody else is doing. Like you said, the Mexican farmers following
Right.
getting U.S. bad habits, because it's all about when you put money first and not people. Those are kind
Right.
of decisions being made. And I think we have to try to put people first and let people realize money is going to be there, but you got to put each other there first. Look out to your brother and sister. What's this? Do you have any ideas on how to create more cooperation between all of these various farmers that appear to be doing their thing? The only way that's going to, the easiest way to do it is have one person who's going to want to buy all their product. If one person wants to buy, if one person walks and say, I want to buy your products, but I need you all to work together, then that's when they work together. Because as I'm saying, because they realize then they have somebody's going to buy that product. But right now they're doing like anybody else. They're doing what they think it works best for them. They're looking at it.
The
They think
bottom line.
if they can go out and sell on the street, on a farm stand or whatever it is, that's what they're going to do. Because that's what they probably used to doing. But if you got somebody come to you and say, well, I want to buy your stuff to sell this restaurant for the next 3 or 4 months, but they can't. They got to have other people with them because they don't have the capacity to do it. That's the only way that's going to encourage it. And we're strongly encouraging some kind of cooperative, not necessarily have a co-op, but some kind of cooperative or collaborative relationship, like I said, so you can grow stuff together to sell to the same product, so everybody can make the same amount of money, and we all can be happy and continue that and expound on that.
Right.
And,
That makes sense. Makes sense.
and like I said, I was saying, really, what people don't realize, it's all we gotta do is get it going in the U.S. I can tell you just from what I've seen and what I know, there's great opportunity to expand it not only here, expand it to the Caribbean and South America, and to expand to Africa. There's great opportunities to do this something, but we have to get ourselves. We got to get ourselves on the ground first, before we try
Yeah.
to tell anybody.
They're doing in California, they are teaching veterans that want to learn about agricultural farming for them. And there's a California Veterans Farmer Associations, and they actually give them grants.
Yes.
There was grants that people can apply for their
Yeah.
machines and all of that other stuff that I seen that I didn't know about until after the fact. It was done after April. But and then you have to join their organization in order to get the funding or really know about the funding because they're like, oh, it's posted, but it's not always posted, especially when you're looking for these grants.
Yeah, actually, it depends on what you talk. I know exactly what grant you're talking about. I know that actually there are a couple of grants out there that deal with veterans and farmers. And there's one that comes out every year, and I'm aware of. And matter of fact, one of the things we're trying to do is there are a few veterans we have, black veterans. We're trying to get them to form an organization, and we're trying to have them get some land. And then we want to help them go out to some of that, get their funding for themselves. And
Right.
And another thing politically is going on. Again, we talk about the funding. There's funding for farmers of color, black, Latino, whatever it is, what you want to call it. But what they did in the last 8 years, because a lot of black farm groups don't know about it, or the white farm groups are getting the money to share with farmers, they added the veteran group into the same slot with the black farmers, the Latino farmers, farmers of color. Now, when they had the veteran groups, all that did is just added another pot for white folks to get white farmers to get the money to do what they want to do. What we're trying to do is make sure they keep the veteran piece separated from the farm of color piece, because again, a lot of people weren't aware of what they were doing, but they were trying to figure out how to get in that pot because it was never the money was never going anywhere because black farmers knew what was going on. So now they added veterans in that pot. So now the veteran group can just suck out all the funds that could go to black farmers, specifically the veteran farmers, who in most cases are white male or female, because they know about the programs or those organizations tell them about it. We're trying to be an organization to make our people knowledgeable of what's going on, but understand how the playing field is and how I think we should compete. Not necessarily face to face, but when it comes to those particular funding, and we can go to Congress and say we want this stuff specifically for us, but we have to prove that we got a group of people behind us that's just working right now and they can make it happen. So I'm saying there's a balance that, like I said before, we have to be able to step up to some extent to be able to take advantage of some of this stuff, and that's what I'm finding out. And it's there. It's there. We just have to figure out how to go about doing it so we can get it, so we can move forward what we want to do.
Yes, we'll put our family out of business down here in the South, the Terminator seeds. Yeah, the GMO seeds. Yep, you're right. Remember MLK spiked on that in the 60s and the 70s.
He must have spoke.
Spoke on that. Okay, I'm sorry.
No. I just figured. No. We didn't say they spoke on what we said. Terminator seeds.
I didn't talk about GMOs. I know.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is from Monsanto or the 40s and the 60s. I guess.
That's a very interesting mess because all that again, like I said, we haven't really been farming at a level where we can see a significant impact. There's some of us that have benefited from that, but we haven't been farming at a level where we may see a significant impact. However, again, like I said, I deal with black farmers. I deal with small farmers in general, and you can hear the stories all. And I'm telling you, the small white farmer has a lot of the same challenges as the small black farmer. The only difference is he can walk into a USDA office and they'll give him the head wrapped back than our guy. But that's a different story. But a lot of them don't know either. They don't know how, and they can't compete in the biggest system either because they're not big enough. So my thing is, why can all the little guys kind of get together, form your cooperatives, whatever it is, and move forward? So anyway, that's I'm talking way beyond where we are with this, but I'm saying I've recognized a lot in the last 7-8 years in this whole farming food. If I knew what I knew, then I would have probably gotten to this field a long time ago. I don't know if you know my back. I'm actually a construction engineer by profession. It had nothing to do with agriculture. but technically, I'm supposed to be third generation. My grandfather's a farmer. My dad was a half a farmer because we moved to an urban area and he did a little bit of stuff. He did a little stuff around the house, and we had fruit trees and stuff. And I didn't realize the significance of all that until now. Why he had fruit trees all over the place, and they grew peppers and tomatoes every year. And then in August, they made all of us sit down for 2 weeks, and all we did was shuck corn, peel peas there because they were preparing stuff for the winter. I didn't do what we were doing. So it all clicked when I got older, and I realized the significance of all that. And that's what we got to kind of get back to. Not necessarily having our children, but they really need to. We need to make them peel peas so at least they can know where it came from. But I'm saying, but to come back to the thing, when people understand that stuff's got to come out, it comes off the farm, and we need to start preparing our foods like that so we can make sure we eat healthy. Because I think we're not going to have the generation. My grandmother, fortunately enough, she passed. She was 102 years old.
Mm.
And I think our generation who've been living off from McDonald's things of that sort, we're not gonna live those. We're not gonna live that long. And I'm saying we need to understand that's because we're not eating right. We're not eating right just because you ate in Walmart food from Walmart. That doesn't understand you're eating right because who knows where that pepper came from or how they prepared it. Was it injected with steroids or whatever? Okay, so I'm saying again, I'm saying we just have to educate our people on what you're getting because nobody thinks about it. They just figure out because it's in the store and it looks pretty. That's let's get it, especially if it's on sale.
Right.
Anyway, I quit. So, I quit talking.
You're doing good. You're doing good. No problem. Blessings to you, Israel, Sister Israel. So yeah, so I think you did really a fantastic job. And guess what? It's 7:08, and we didn't even take one break.
Yeah. Oh, go. I guess hopefully that means that wasn't too boring. Everybody fall asleep. Maybe start flip the channel and watch something else.
No. It's good. No, it's good education. I really,
and in the future, I would love to come and do a small PowerPoint to kind of, I'm talking now, but sometimes when people see stuff on the screen, like I said before, I think they can take it in. So I love to one day in the future, and I get a chance, I'll put together something for you, and we could, I'm willing to share it, or at least we can pass it on or what have you.
Well, like I said, Food Alchemy Network is always building, always having different shows. So, we might have it, on our things. You never know. We're going to have you back. She said, like, chicken legs look like turkey legs now. That's because of the GMOs. Injection, baby. Injection. So, I like heirloom stuff. So that's for me. I'm an heirloom type of person. So I have heirloom seeds that I want to grow my food because I know they were talking about they were locking up the heirloom seeds. So if you're lucky to get them, you better keep them. The best thing about heirloom seeds is they keep growing and producing and producing.
Yes.
That's the one thing you want. So that's why I don't like. That's why I don't like these watermelons they have out here. I really don't. I can't.
I'm sorry. In the organic, sustainable farm, there's a lot of seed saving, a lot of discussion about how to go about doing it. Because what you're saying, people know that's going on. So people are trying to prepare. Getting these heirloom seeds to make sure they can still grow what they want to do. Because they're controlling what's coming out of these people buying stuff by mail order from these places. They're controlling what's going on. I mean, and that. You'd be amazed at some of the stuff that's happening with Monsanto and their stories. How they, with all their stuff.
Oh, trust me, I know. See. The thing is, my backgrounds. I went to Culinary Institute of America, and I was part of the slow food movement.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So I know, and that's something artistic. What we call artistian food. Bread food became a thing back when I was in the culinary. But that's always, she was like, basically, you just doing what your grandparents did a long time ago. So it's no big thing. Now we got a name to it. Artistian food. Like, really? Okay. All right. Thank you if you want to call it that. But that's what they're doing. But also Monsanto's was suing other farmers that had organic farms. If a seed just flew on their land and they grow in the same thing, they would sue them.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's so much stuff that people don't know. Maybe I will do a show on educating people about the information of GMO seeds and heirloom seeds for them to get an understanding. And, that would be something for people to really be able to understand the quality of your food. and what it does to your body when you're eating GMOs, why you want to be organic. Because you can get, or see, and this is what people don't know, organic heirloom food. You can get organic GMO foods. People's like, no, you can't. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's been proven. It can be organic and it can be have GMOs.
And I think that's what Whole Food has. They just not telling.
Hey.
Well, I better be quiet. I told you they're your sponsor. They're gonna come after me.
No, they're not gonna come after you. So I mean, it's information that needs is you have it right. You have a freedom of speech. So it
Yeah.
is what it is. We need to do it. Got to do. So anybody else have any questions? Thank you for the beautiful people, Sister Israel, that came out, Brother Eddie, Sister Arlene, for asking so many beautiful questions. And thank you for answering my questions from my thing. So, like I said, you got a heads up. You got a big heads up. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say.
Well, first of all, I appreciate the opportunity to come on here. Anytime I can find the right audience to speak before what's going on. I mean, I have no problem. I mean, I see what I'm doing. I can see the bigger picture. I just got to get you got to get other people to kind of understand what's going on. That's going to help them, because it's not about me. It's about us as a community, as a people. So I appreciate the opportunity to share what I know. Like I said, and the more I try to learn, I want to try to share with the bigger audience. So.
Oh wow, I didn't know the only way farmers got grants was to use Monsanto seeds. Whole Food was once owned by Monsanto. Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know about Whole Foods. That one I'm not sure of. But yeah. But if you try to get funding through doing whatever products that Monsanto was selling, they pretty much control you. And,
Right.
yeah. But my thing is, you just have to stay away from that. You have to stay away from big institutional farm. That's why we go back and create our own small networks. We're under the radar and we're feeding our neighborhoods, and that's really what it's supposed to be all about. Like we had to do 60 years ago when they let us go into place anyway. We got to go back to what we used to do back then.
Right.
That's what worked.
Slow food movement, farm to table, preserving, canning, and all of that good stuff. Do you have a website?
It's under construction. It's actually going to be coming up, and I'll share the information. We're actually going to have a webinar series coming up, specifically targeting to educate people who want to do farming, urban or rural, and also my thing, emphasizing the whole farming business piece and access how to get USDA grants. All this is going to be in our webinar series. So I don't know. I'll share my email. You share my email address, and what I like to do is put them on a list. So when that stuff comes out, I'll be definitely warned. I'll definitely send it out. We are being very selective who get the information. Like I said,
Right.
and the webinar series itself is going to cost to it, but because they're coming on Food Alchemy Network, we're going to provide scholarships probably for your listeners. So
Hey. I saw that with hey, but we never talk. But it's important, so we thank you for that. Let's see, Arlene says, come on. It's being slow today.
What's that?
Come on. The question.
No, I get it. It's short on my side. I got to thank you from someone out there.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you for the questions. Like I said, I thank you very much for the questions.
Yes. Thank you so much for, providing. So we're going to do this again. It flew by so fast. And
I made it through.
You.
No, thank you. Really, anytime you have a chance to share, I'm willing to do it. Like I said, because we got to get it out. We just got to get more people. We get more people enthusiastic about what's going on. They have a better understanding. We can move forward and get a lot more stuff done. So.
Right, because you take responsibility in your community and start building up. That's all. Look around in your community and figure out, okay, what do you think you lack? Where can you pick up that lack? I mean, you don't have to do everything. You're welcome, love.
No, and believe me, if you're out there generally trying to do the right thing, there's a lot of people will come behind you in a minute. People will step. I mean, we're willing to help wherever we can. If you're trying to figure out how to make $1 and get on TV, we'll let you do what you want to do. But if you're really sincerely trying to help out people understand what's going on, we're with you 100%. That's what this webinar series is really all about too. So.
And when is the webinar?
No, it's going to be it's a whole thing about the food and farm. Well, what do we call it? We have a title. It's food and farm. What is it? No, just outreach for people in food and farming who are interested in it. So it's going to be a whole training series. I don't have a title name for it yet, but as soon as we get everything up again, I'll forward the information to you, and then you could we can share with your listeners if that's the case, and we can go from there.
Okay, yeah, because I put them on there, and the thing is that I'll put it on here for you guys that are
Yeah.
on here. I want to let you know we're also on Spotify. So go to Food Alchemy Network podcast so you can hear the shows just like this, and you'll see the information to listen to the show and rehear it in another form one there. So also, if you miss part of the show, go back to the beginning after the show airs, and you'll be able to see from the beginning. And if you like the information we're getting and you would like us to continue, I would also like you to, as my son said, subscribe and hit the bell button when you hear that we have shows. So even when I am not here doing live shows, we will be having pre-recorded shows. So we talk about a whole bunch of things. We've had expats on here live. We had expat. There's a lady that's in Emirata. Then we had someone from Belize, and we talked about that.
Mm.
And this Saturday, we have a woman that was from Taiwan that came here and lived in America. And she's going to be on and talk about the verses of being an expat and now being a citizen. And
Mm.
she's dual citizenship. So we're going to talk about that. That'll be on this Saturday. So I want you guys to watch it. Watch out for that. It'll be downloaded and you'll be able to see that. And then we will see you hopefully on Friday. If not, you'll see Corey on Friday or pre-recorded because I'll be on vacation. I'll be
Vacation.
in Mexico. I'll be in Mexico.
All right.
I leave on Tuesday. What you talking about? I'll be leaving. I gotta be at the airport at 4 a.m. in the morning. Okay,
Oh wow.
so I can get there at least like 3. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay. So yes. So I'll be there and I'm going to enjoy myself. So I want you guys to um, be aware that shows are going to be uploaded, but I'm going to be on a bus on Friday, I believe. We're catching a bus and we're not going to get to another part of central Mexico for some couple of hours. So I'm enjoying myself on my bus ride. So I'll either upload, but always subscribe, hit the bell button. And if you're on Spotify or Anchor FM, again, subscribe, like, listen, spread it to your friends. Food Alchemy Network. We are a network that go beyond the esoteric of yourself and your surroundings. So I want to again say thank you, Brother Cary, for coming on and providing us a meal of sorts to digest and break down in our system. So as we let the food digest and break down, use that information and let it nourish our body. So we thank you.
Great.
So we'll see you again. We're gonna have you again. So maybe we can walk around with you while you're touring the farm, urban farm. I'm putting you to work, right?
I'll have to find the right people. But you talking about this time of night, it's got to be an indoor farm because otherwise it's dark.
No, we would do it early. That would be a pre-recorded show.
Okay.
I mean, we'll work something out. You see the kind of stuff that come up off the top of my head? I'm just saying.
No, so. That's how we be creative. That's what we have to do. We got to think outside the box. Break that paradigm.
Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. See you on the flip side.
Okay. Thank you so much again.